In the dawn of ages, when the world was yet young, and the breath of creation still lingered upon the hills, the sons of men multiplied upon the face of the earth. Gardens that once bore the footprints of the Almighty grew tangled and wild, and the rivers that watered Eden ran now through the dwellings of the proud. The glory of the beginning had faded, and a shadow crept across the works of his hands. For the wickedness of man was great upon the earth, and every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Violence filled the cities, and the cry of the innocent rose like smoke into the heavens. And the Lord looked down upon his creation, and it grieved him at his heart that he had made man, and sorrow moved in the deep places of his spirit. Yet in that faithless age there lived a man whose name was Noah, a just man and perfect in his generations. He walked with God, while round about him the nations laughed at holiness and mocked the name of the Most High. In his tent there was no idol, and upon his lips there was no deceit. And the Lord beheld him, and found favor in his sight, as a single lamp burning in a house of shadows. And it came to pass, as Noah stood beneath the open sky, that the voice of the Almighty came unto him like the rolling of distant thunder. "Noah," said the voice, "the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth. But thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation, and with thee will I establish my covenant. Make thee an ark of gopher wood, spake the Lord. Rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. The length of it shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make, and a door in the side thereof. With lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it." And Noah bowed his head, and the command was graven upon his soul. Then Noah came unto his wife, and unto Shem, Ham, and Japheth his sons, and their wives, and spake unto them all the words of the Lord. And though the task was mighty and the vision strange, they doubted not, neither did they turn aside. Together they gathered timber from the mountains, and hewed the great beams of gopher wood, and laid the first keel upon the plain, beneath the watchful and troubled sky. The years passed as slow rivers, and still the ark grew, rib by rib and plank by plank. The neighbors came out of their cities to jeer, pointing and laughing at the great ship stranded far from any sea. "Where is thy flood, old man?" they cried, and their children threw stones against the hull. But Noah answered them not, save with the steady striking of his hammer and the faithful labor of his hands. At last the day came when the final beam was set, and the last seam sealed with pitch. The ark towered upon the plain, vast as a mountain of hewn wood, its shadow stretching long across the fields at evening. Silent it stood, patient and terrible, a word of warning written in timber against the sky. And Noah laid down his tools, and lifted his eyes toward the heavens, and waited upon the Lord. Then came a wonder such as the earth had never beheld. Out of the forests and the far hills, out of the deserts and the fens, the beasts of the field drew near in solemn procession. 2 by 2 they came, the lion beside the lamb, the eagle with the dove, the great and the small, summoned by a hand unseen. Into the shelter of the ark they passed, and Noah stood in awe as the wild things walked obedient before him. When all were gathered, Noah and his wife, his sons and their wives, entered into the ark as the Lord had commanded. No man followed, No voice from the scoffing cities called out for mercy. And behold, the Lord himself shut them in, sealing the door with his own hand. And within the great hull there fell a hush, as of a world holding its breath, awaiting the judgment long foretold. Then the heavens grew black, and a stillness fell upon the plain. The first drops of rain struck the dust like the tapping of a distant drum, soft at first, then quickening. And in that same hour, the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the waters beneath the earth burst forth in roaring pillars. The windows of heaven were opened, and the long-withheld judgment came down in torrents upon the works of men. 40 days and 40 nights the rain did not cease. Rivers leapt from their beds, and seas climbed the sides of the hills. The cities of pride were swallowed, and the high towers bowed beneath the churning flood. The cries of the scoffers were drowned in the roar of the waters, and at last there was no voice left upon the earth save the wind upon the waves, and the creaking of the ark in the dark. And the ark went forth upon the face of the waters, alone beneath a sky without stars. No shore, no mountain, no living thing appeared in any quarter, only the endless grey deep and the small wooden world that rode upon it. Within, the beasts were quiet, and Noah tended them by the light of a single lamp, and prayed, and remembered the promise of the Lord, who had shut the door behind him. Then God remembered Noah, and every living thing that was with him in the ark. He made a wind to pass over the earth, and the fountains of the deep were stopped, and the rain from heaven restrained. The waters began to wane. Noah sent forth a raven that went to and fro, and then a dove, which returned. And at the last, the dove came again in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. In time, the ark came to rest upon the mountains of Ararat, and the tops of the hills rose up like islands out of the sea. Noah opened the door and stepped forth upon ground washed clean by judgment, and his household followed, and every beast after his kind. There upon the mountain, Noah built an altar unto the Lord, and offered sacrifice, and the sweet savor rose into the quiet air of a new-made world. Then the Lord set his bow in the cloud, a span of living light arched across the sky. This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living creature, for perpetual generations, said the voice. The waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And Noah gazed upon the rainbow and wept. For in that colored promise he beheld the mercy of God, everlasting and sure.